Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Andrew Missick, running for Texas State Legislature to represent HD 18. And I'm trying to do these daily announcements of what's going on with the campaign. And today I want to report what I think is some very, very good news. And that is the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he's begun releasing the January 6th security surveillance video. And this is very, very important. And this information should have been made available to the public as soon as this incident happened. But the news media and the FBI, they wanted to create a false narrative. This is the liberal left-wing establishment. This video should have been released immediately on January 7th. But the problem is that the left-wing establishment, which includes the liberal news media, created a narrative of insurrection. And Dinesh D'Souza has this movie, Police State. So what had happened is, I've always opposed the Patriot Act. It never sat well with me. And there's a lot of people who did support the Patriot Act, and now they have regret about it. But we need to repeal the Patriot Act, because what happened is, using the pretense of Islamic terror, they're stripping us of our constitutional rights. Patriot Act is an outrage. So what happened is the FBI, they did this operation. I want you to watch these two video clips by Congressman Clay Higgins. And what I want you to notice during this exchange is that Christopher Wray, he's lying under oath. He's saying January 6th, the so-called insurrection, was not an FBI operation, when it most certainly was. Notice Clay Higgins says, Christopher Wray, your day is coming. He's got the evidence, and it's coming. It's going to be forthcoming very, very soon. So hopefully we're going to have Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, arrested and tried for sedition and treason. But if you look at this exchange, Christopher Wray cannot deny that there were the people who were engaging in violence. Apparently, probably almost all of them were FBI agents or assets, what they call it, confidential human resources, what do they call them? They're FBI agents. That this is a deliberate attack. They wanted, you see the video of Roy Epps encouraging people to go inside the Capitol. They want to create this narrative of insurrection. I think the biggest reason why they did this, the operation is to stop the contesting of the election. Because what would happen is the Democrats have done this time and time before. This is the first time Republicans are going to contest the electors. So a congressman, a representative, states that they contest the electors. If it's supported by a senator, then you have testimony. They'll present their evidence of voter fraud, election irregularities, or whatever. And then they debate it, and they vote on it. And when I went to January 6th, I was there. I didn't see any violence. But our intention was just to have our grievances heard, a constitutional right to petition our government and to peaceably assemble. But they wanted to shut down the contesting of the electors. And that's what this FBI operation was all about. And you have to think, so we have Mike Johnson, he's releasing these videos, and this entire narrative of insurrection is going to collapse. It's going to collapse. And also, we need to get the video of the people who are engaging in violence, people like Roy Epps who encourage violence and people who participate in violence. We need to get these pictures and use face recognition software and identify all these FBI agents and assets. Apparently there are so many they lost count, they had to do an audit. There are probably at least 1,000, if not a few thousand FBI agents and assets. And apparently it seems like the government, I mean, not just the FBI, this isn't just a rogue agency. It seems like Roy Epps is military intelligence. So can you imagine that? Can you imagine the Pentagon being involved in January 6th and certain people in the Capitol Police? It sure looks that way. And this is good news. Notice, Kevin McCarthy should have released this video a long time ago. I thank God that Mike Johnson's doing it. But Chuck Schumer lost his ever-loving mind because even though Kevin McCarthy did not release it to the public, he allowed Tucker Carlson to view it and to take clips and put it on his program. Fox News shut that down after one episode. And then they eventually fired Tucker Carlson. Why was Tucker Carlson fired? Because he was undermining the January 6th lie, the narrative. And what did they do? So the FBI had this operation January 6th to claim falsely that there's, Trump supporters are terrorists, they're domestic extremists. And so the entire apparatus of the government is going after conservatives. And the FBI is kicking people's doors down, beating people, pointing guns at children, horrible things, assaulting elderly people in the name of, January 6th insurrection. But there was no insurrection. The video is going to show this. And notice, like I said, Chuck Schumer is losing his mind that people could see for themselves what actually happened. So this is good. I was there. I tell people, it's like I was there from 6 till 3. I did not go inside the Capitol. I didn't have time for that. Now, I wouldn't have done it anyway because I'm patriotic. I love my country. And if we're not supposed to be going in there, I haven't been inside. I've been to the Capitol twice, but I haven't been inside it. I'd like to go inside the Capitol and view it. But I wouldn't, if doors were being forced open and we're not supposed to be in there, I wouldn't do that. At least not knowingly. And that's the thing, that a lot of these people might have gone in there not knowingly, just following the crowd, not knowing what's happening. After all, the Capitol Police was opening the door, ushering people in. I mean, that's what the video shows already. So they need this narrative. So what's going to happen is the January 6th narrative is going to collapse, that it wasn't an insurrection. And it's going to show that the actions of the FBI are unwarranted. And once again, I want you to watch Dinesh D'Souza's movie Police State, showing what's going on. What they're doing is they're creating a totalitarian Marxist police state. Christopher Wray, Merrick Garland, Alejandro Mayorkas, and of course the junta, the Biden-Obama junta. That's what this is doing. So if they're lying about January 6th, they're lying about November 2022. And this whole operation, this whole FBI operation had two goals. One, to prevent the constitutional process of accepting or rejecting the electors. They wanted to close that down, close down the debate, and ram through ratification of Biden. This is crazy. I was thinking today about how extreme Obama was, how extreme Biden is, and Trump is not really an extremist at all. He's a moderate Republican, and he's actually implementing conservative ideas, and it benefited our country. And yet these people want to stop Trump at all costs. And now look what they're doing. They're trying to arrest him. I mean, they're bringing him up. I have a mugshot of him. This is really, these are signs of desperation and panic. And I hope that everything's exposed before we get to Election Day. And that's why we need serious candidates like me who are committed constitutionalists and conservatives. And I also want to thank God for Mike Johnson, and thank God for Matt Gaetz to get Kevin McCarthy out of there. Kevin McCarthy, apparently his lifestyle choice is homosexual, and that's I guess it's a free country, you can do that. But his gay lover is a Democrat strategist and activist, so it's like he left his wife and kids for a Democrat activist. So this guy's literally, he claims to be a Republican. He's sleeping with the enemy every night. So it's good to get him out of there and to get Mike Johnson in, who's a man of integrity, who also reflects my beliefs as a conservative evangelical, social conservative and Christian. And I want to mention, there's a lot of hate towards evangelicals, people like Mike Johnson, but Jesus said it would be that way. Jesus says, woe unto you, and when men speak well of you and praise you, so they spoke well of the false prophets, and bless you, persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Evangelicals are not liked people by the Marxists because they have no devotion. They have no devotion except to raw power and to statism, the totalitarian police state. That's what they want. That's what they believe in. That's the only God that they deign to worship, is power, raw government power. And I guess it's like, why would people not want to be free? It's hard for me to understand that. But I guess, throughout history, and there's people haven't been free. So people are accustomed to tyranny, and that's the way of the world. And so here we have the United States of America, a beacon of freedom. And the Democrat Party is trying to do everything they can to strip us of our constitutional liberties. And then they deflect on us. It's like, oh, Trump's authoritarian. Really? Oh, you're a threat to democracy. And that's what it's so crazy. It's like, Trump left office. I have a feeling that after they lose this election, these people are not going to give up power. And we know what side the FBI is on, and apparently even the military. So we're going to have a very difficult year. They're desperate, and they're going to lose. I think the writing is on the wall. And what are we going to do if the FBI and the Pentagon tries to, Trump won the election, we can't have that. This is we're going to save democracy by canceling the election. They're already trying to keep them off. They claim they're democratic. We believe in democracy, and they're trying to keep our candidate off of the ballot, and they arrest our primary candidate. So just look at their deeds, not their words. But about evangelicalism, we have this article. This is American Family Association. My father loved the American Family Association. And I think this is a great article. And he's talking about how he's calling himself a fundamentalist. And what does that mean? Of course, that's used as a pejorative term. Evangelical is used as a pejorative term. But fundamental basically means an adherence to the core doctrines you recite when you recite the Apostles, the Nicene Creed, and the authority of the Bible. That's all fundamentalism. Christian fundamentalism really means that the belief that the Bible is a literal, inerrant, inspired Word of God. But he talks about, how they describe people, the people on the left describe people as a religious right. It says, in the secular leftist view, people like me have a political agenda to take over the country and subject non-believers through the power of government to our particular religious dogma. Often these people will say, I think this is absurd, but they believe it, that we represent a Christian version of the Taliban. Obviously, the idea of a group of people gaining control of government and using it to force others to obey their particular religious beliefs scares many Americans. It'd scare me too if I thought this was a real possibility. There may be people in this country who'd like to do this, but trust me, none of the Christians I know have any desire to force a religious creed on others. So what are they doing? They're inflaming fear and hatred. And I think a lot of Democrats know that this isn't true about evangelicals, but they say it anyway in the quest of power because, like I said, they're not going to allow any God to be worshipped with the raw power of the Marxist totalitarian police state. So if people believe in God, a higher power other than the power that they hope to wield, that's a threat to the power they wield, absolute totalitarian power. But it seems to me that they're doomed to failure. But the problem is, if you look at the Soviet Union, 70 years, and Russia is not what it used to be. I mean, even though communism has fallen and collapsed, it wounded Russia greatly. And Joe Biden was arrogantly saying, we're the United States of America, the greatest country on earth, the greatest country there's ever been. We cannot fall. Our dominance is assured. Pride cometh before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. I do believe that a strong America is good for the whole world. It's like Jesus said, a shining city on the hill. The example of economic opportunity and freedom, liberty, in abundance and prosperity, freedom, human rights, dignity of every man. We used to reflect that. So how much we do today is the question. But we need to, I think we should work for the betterment of all mankind. And that means keeping America strong and free. I want to take some time to look at once more certain legislative priorities that we need to have because we need to, as Texas State Representative, it's important for me to represent the people, and that means I have to have an ear to the concerns about the people. And this is my legislative agenda, and here we can see the priorities and concerns for Republican voters in Texas. And I share a lot of these concerns. I want to present solutions, these problems and concerns that our voters have. So that's my discussion this time about the campaign and certain issues that I think have bearing. So we got the holidays, Thanksgiving holidays coming on, and I'll be doing videos throughout that time. But we do need to be thankful to God for all of our blessings that we have. So I've invited people before. I invite you again. Wednesday night, we have our prayer meetings. We're praying for a country. I'll be there leading in prayer, giving a short sermonette. And remember, we have the Meet the Candidate event on Sunday, this Sunday, the day after tomorrow. So hopefully, or that's going to be the 19th. So if you're in the area, you'd like to come, it'd be good to see you. So thank you. God bless you.